Welcome everybody, this is great. Can you believe this is lecture number 17, Meant for Change? Woohoo! Can't believe it. I'm just delighted to represent Kate Wells, who is going to do a wonderful talk and actually a group session on her fabulous pastime, which is she works as a certified hypnotherapist, has a private practice, and a number of patients in this program have actually seen her and really done some amazing things. She will do a little talk before her session, then she'll kind of involve the group and we'll kind of go from there. So this is not like a stage show. You don't have to worry about doing things you don't want to do, but she'll explain the whole thing. And I just have a few slides. This really doesn't resonate in the back row, but this is a picture from my office window last Wednesday, remember? Woo, go see. It was just incredible. I thought the overpass would collapse. There's so many people on that, and I was just amazed, of course, at the, 750,000 people there. It's just, the energy was incredible. So that's the one great thing from last week. Then we had the snow. I actually went out late Saturday night with my daughter on a walk in the neighborhoods, and this wasn't taken with a flash, and there was no street light. It was just the glow of the snow, and it was so pretty. So I know the folks back east are not exactly liking the snow. So gotta be careful what I say. And you know, with this big week and the Seahawks and the snow and crazy, you know, life just kind of goes on, and sometimes you just have to take a moment and breathe and look at beautiful things like flowers, and you think of the texture and the color, and if you could smell this, and this kind of calms your senses. So as you think about that, I'm going to get our next speaker signed up, so come on over.
Thank you. So as you heard, my name is Kate Wells, and I am a hypnotherapist. And Dr. Susan mentioned that I would be doing a group hypnosis. I don't want that to scare anybody. If you choose not to participate, you don't need to, and it's different than a stage show. So in a group hypnosis, what I will do is gather information from you on what you would like support with, motivation to do around healthful choices, around a healthful lifestyle. Thank you. And that's what I'll put into the hypnosis. It will be, for most people, very relaxing, enjoyable. However, if you choose not to participate, you don't need to. You can stay here in the room and just keep your eyes open, and as long as you're quiet, that will be just fine. And the only reason I need you to be quiet is just so you don't disturb other people who are thinking about relaxing. And I thought it was really wonderful when Dr. Susan was talking about those flowers, because as she described those flowers, the texture, the smell, the colors, that's what I do in hypnosis. That's a way of relaxing. So we actually all experience hypnosis every single day of our life. When we take that moment to pause and just relax and look at that sunset. And you probably had that experience where you maybe have a hectic day and something catches your eye, or you choose to take that moment and just relax. And that's just a nice kind of easy, gentle hypnosis. Also when we daydream, and you can remember perhaps in school daydreaming, and you're supposed to be studying or looking at what the teacher's doing. Perhaps she's doing math up on the chalkboard, and all of a sudden you get called upon, and in the meantime you've been thinking about recess and looking out the window, and it's interesting how, boom, we can kind of pop right back into the classroom. Okay, I should have been listening, I should have been paying attention to what the teacher's saying, and just like that, with hypnosis, as I talk with you today, those of you who choose to experience it, there will be moments when you may be distracted by somebody coughing in the room. And as soon as you realize that, just come on back to the sound of my voice. You will always be in control during this experience. Another example of the hypnosis that you may have experienced on your own is when you've been driving someplace familiar. For instance, going home from work or going to work, and you get into your car, you start to drive, and then all of a sudden you're there, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what was I doing? That's called highway hypnosis. So your conscious mind is perhaps thinking about, you know, what's happening at work, or what are you going to have for dinner, and your subconscious mind is kind of taking you into this lovely little hypnosis. So Most of us have experienced that, missed the exit on the freeway because we're thinking about something else. So that's hypnosis. Now certainly there are different levels of hypnosis, and the type of hypnosis that I do, most of the time people stay in a fairly light level of hypnosis, so you will always be aware that where you are, that I'm talking to you. Even if you were to go into a deeper level of hypnosis where perhaps consciously you were thinking about something else, you were perhaps at the beach or you were enjoying a beautiful sunset, even in that deeper level where you're not paying attention to anything that's going on in the room, you would still have the ability, should the fire alarm go off, to immediately open your eyes, stand up, and we would all leave the room safely, leave the building safely. So it's interesting how our mind is able to do that, to go into these really nice, deep, relaxed, hypnotic states, and then come right back when it needs to. Now, I do have some clients who see me on a regular basis for relaxation, and those clients want to go so deeply into hypnosis that they are not consciously listening to me, they are not aware, they don't want to be aware of where they are. Yet, as soon as I count them back, and I'll count you all back today, counting from 1 to 5, and on the count of 5, open your eyes. On the count of 5, they're right back with me. And they just love that deep, deep relaxation. And that's something that you all could achieve as well. It just takes practice. Like anything, the more that you do it, the easier it becomes. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. Today our agenda is, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about my practice and what I do as a hypnotherapist. We'll talk about what hypnosis is and isn't, because Hollywood certainly has created some funny ideas about what someone can do with hypnosis, and so I want to just kind of set the record straight there. Then we'll talk about how hypnosis can support health and wellness. And then finally, you'll have the opportunity to participate in a group experience if you want to. So I'm going to start with introducing myself, and then right before the group hypnosis experience, I'm going to have you then introduce yourselves if you don't mind, and then at that point let me know what you might like me to put into the hypnosis, and I'll give you a little more information on that at that time. So, okay, so I'm going to skip this until later. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about me. So my name is Kate Wells. I've been practicing hypnotherapy for over 10 years now. I have an office in Edmonds, and then I see clients by special arrangement in Seattle. I see clients privately. I see clients in a group setting. I also do work with hospice patients, and I teach a class at Bastyr to other hypnotherapists. So people come to see me for certainly what people think of as hypnotherapy is smoking cessation, but also for support in making healthful choices. And those healthful choices could be to exercise more, to eat more vegetables, perhaps to stay away from sugary foods or fast foods, or to get a better night's sleep. One of the things that I always encourage people to do, and one of the things that I'll include in the hypnosis today, is some stress reduction. And stress is a subject people just don't want to spend any time on. And if I could just practice one thing, it would be stress reduction, teaching people self-calming techniques. And part of the hypnosis today will be perhaps something, if you like it, that you'll be able to go ahead and practice on your own. To go to sleep, to take a break during the day, to relax. Stress reduction is so important. So I usually will include that in the healthful choices type of hypnosis, but I also will see clients privately for that, as some people do want that for lowering tension. Just by relaxing, we often can reduce pain. If we have arthritic pain, if we have pain from an injury or from surgery, by relaxing, it's amazing how that can be helpful as well. But it is also supportive of weight reduction, because when we're in a tense state, our body may think that we're under attack. It releases a number of different hormones, increases our cortisol level, which then makes it all the more difficult to reduce weight, even if you're doing everything correct. So recognizing when we're in a stress state, and then doing something about it to relax. It could be self-hypnosis, it could be going for a walk, it could be petting our cat or our dog. You know, there's a number of ways. It could be looking at that beautiful flower arrangement and just pausing for a moment and kind of shifting what we're thinking about. So let's see. People see me for a number of things beyond what I've mentioned. Might be anxiety, could be a fear of flying, nail biting, all kinds of things. In the group classes that I do, much like what we'll do tonight, I offer a monthly group class in Edmonds, and that's always around motivation to make healthful choices. Now that's a really big category, and what each hypnosis is specifically on is determined by the people who show up that night. So similar to tonight, I go around the room, people let me know what they'd like support with, and then that's what we focus on for the group hypnosis. It's open to anybody. If you are interested in more information about that, I have a sign-up sheet over here, and I'd be happy to send you some information. So let's see. Let's talk now about, what is hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy has a lot of different definitions. This is one that I thought was good, so I'm going to actually read it to you. Hypnosis can be defined as a procedure in which one person is guided by another person to respond to suggestions for change in subjective experience, alterations in perception, sensation, emotion, thought, or behavior. So during hypnosis, our conscious, analytical, problem-solving mind kind of moves to the back of our mind, so to speak. It's still there, it still knows where you are, it still is able to, should the fire alarm go off, immediately come back to the front of our mind, so to speak, so that we're able to get up, leave the building safely. That it relaxes, and the subconscious part of our brain becomes more active. And that's where we go into those more relaxed states, and can amazingly make changes that perhaps we've been trying to make with the conscious mind. We can make them much more easily when the subconscious mind understands that's what we want, and if there are any perhaps reasons why the subconscious mind has been holding on to behaviors that we thought we were ready to get rid of. During hypnosis, we can kind of uncover what is that kind of hidden reason why we continue to every night eat that carton of ice cream, or we have the best intentions to go to the gym, but just somehow we're not able to get there. So through hypnosis, we can work through those things. Now, one of the questions that I normally get when people think about hypnosis is, well, I don't want to be made a fool of. I don't want to get up in front of the group and quack like a duck or imitate Elvis. And there is something called stage hypnosis. You might have seen it, sometimes they have it at high school, sometimes at the Puyallup Fair, or certainly in Las Vegas. And that's a stage show. A hypnotist will ask for volunteers to come up on stage. And if you happen to have an opportunity to see one of these stage shows, they're really quite enjoyable. And you don't have to go up on stage, but you can if you want. The people who will go up on stage will tend to be more of an extrovert, in that they're quite comfortable being in front of the group, having the limelight on them. And then when the hypnotist asks for someone to sing or dance, whether they're hypnotized or not, they are happy to get up and sing or dance, and it puts on a very good show. But if you observe any of these type of shows, you'll notice that there's always people who are asked to leave the stage. And they didn't do anything wrong, and it's not that they can't be hypnotized. It's just that if you think of the bell curve in that with hypnosis, everyone can be hypnotized should they want to be hypnotized, unless they have a type of brain damage, or perhaps a lower IQ where they wouldn't be able to focus, perhaps not be able to get a driver's license. But as long as you're pretty much in the normal range, you can be hypnotized should you want to be hypnotized. You have to go along with it to be hypnotized. But in that bell curve, there's people over here who are highly hypnotizable, and if they're extroverts, they're great, they'll put on a really wonderful show. And then at the opposite end of the bell curve, we have people who can be hypnotized, but they're going to stay in a lighter level. They would be perhaps a little bit resistant to using their imagination so much and going with it. It isn't that they can't be helped with hypnosis, that it wouldn't be a very interesting stage show. So those people will usually be detected by the hypnotist who does stage shows all the time and asked to leave the stage. Sometimes they think, oh gosh, then I can't be hypnotized. And that isn't true. They just couldn't be hypnotized fast enough or go deep enough to put on a good show. So from the group that remains, the hypnotist will make certain suggestions that would be entertaining to the group. As I mentioned, they might have them sing a song or imitate Elvis or do something else, act out a play of something happening. And there'll be people amongst that group, if you're lucky and watching the show, who will get into it and they'll put on a wonderful show and it's quite enjoyable. But they will only do what they want to do and also what is within their ethics and their morals. So should the hypnotist ask them to sing and they don't really think they have a good voice, they most likely would not sing. Or they might just hum a tune or something like that. I'm going to put this down. So any questions about stage shows? Have you seen anything and are a little bit concerned that that might happen or wondered how it worked? Okay, so then the other thing is Hollywood. So movies often will show a hypnotist hypnotizing somebody and then they convince him to go out and rob a bank or something. You just can't do that. That makes a good movie. So that's why that's in the movie. Let's see, another question is, well, what does it feel like to be hypnotized? For most people, it's a very relaxing and enjoyable experience. Even sometimes if a person has difficulty getting into hypnosis, just the relaxation of the hypnosis, they're able to really enjoy themselves. And hopefully, through that, working with the hypnotherapist, that we're able to figure out what is it that person wants and able to put that into the hypnosis in such a way that it is accepted. That's the type of hypnosis where it would be more of a direct suggestion, what you'll experience this evening. When I work privately with clients, often a lot of the discovery happens during the session, actually while they're hypnotized, where I might ask them to imagine a beautiful, safe place where they feel comfortable and relaxed and it's so peaceful, then ask them to describe it to me. And then from there, I might ask them, now we're going to be working on whatever subject matter, and ask the subconscious mind to bring to us whatever we need to look at. So I would continue to ask them, discovery type of questions. And based on that, we can perhaps uncover why someone, although they've tried numerous times to quit smoking, why they're not smoking, or why they haven't quit smoking. It may turn out that, cigarettes have been their best friend for the longest time. Whenever they're upset, they go to cigarettes and they don't want to lose their best friend. So working through hypnosis, we can perhaps come up with some other options for them to have that best friend, some other options for when they're stressed or upset rather than a cigarette. So that's the type of thing that we can do with hypnotherapy. Let's see, another question that I have, I'm sorry, I'm going to make you move the camera again. Another question that I often get is, what if I get stuck in hypnosis? Well, you can't get stuck in hypnosis. And that is that fear is furthered by another movie that's quite popular out there with Gwyneth Paltrow, if you're familiar with it, it's a great movie. And the hypnotist hypnotizes someone, and then I think the hypnotist has a heart attack. And so the person is stuck in hypnosis and goes about their life doing odd things because they're in hypnosis and nobody knows. Well, let's just say tonight, during the hypnosis, you're all beautifully relaxed and enjoying yourself, and I fell asleep. And what would happen to you? Well, probably, eventually you'd realize I hadn't said anything for a while. So you just open your eyes. Or if you were really tired and really comfortable, you might too then just kind of go to sleep for a little while, and then we'd probably both wake up in a couple of minutes and continue with the hypnosis. But you can't be stuck in hypnosis. You will just come out of it naturally if the hypnotist doesn't actually count you out of hypnosis. Let me just see if there's any other questions. As we're doing the hypnosis part of today, it will be normal to experience perhaps eventually a feeling of relaxation, and then all of a sudden you may get distracted distracted, whether it's by thoughts or a sound in the room. And if that happens, just take a nice deep breath and come on back to the sound of my voice. It's very much like a sleep cycle where we go into lighter and deeper levels of hypnosis. So when you perhaps feel like, oh no, I'm coming out of that relaxed feeling, don't worry, that's just a normal cycle, and come on back to the sound of my voice, and then you can probably go back into a more relaxed feeling. So any questions that I didn't answer? What is the weirdest, wackiest thing that you ever heard about hypnosis? You guys are so polite. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Any questions?
I think you covered it all.
Okay, good.
I have a question. If you're going to bring about long-term behavior change, how many sessions does that involve?
That's a really good question. I would say the average would be probably somewhere between 4 and 8 sessions. However, some people have 1 session and that's all that they need. Often when people see me for smoking cessation, we have a long conversation before I take them on as a client, because I need to know that they want to quit smoking. They're not coming to see me because perhaps their spouse has threatened them, if you don't quit, I'm going to leave you, or they actually have to want it. And there still could be that part of them that's, oh, but it's been a friend, or there's a part of me that just doesn't want to quit. That's okay, as long as the majority of them wants to quit, the majority of the person. Oftentimes with smoking cessation, it's 1 session. It's a long session. It's a 2-hour session, and it's pretty intense. And I have done it in groups. I really like to do it one-on-one with a client. Weight management's a little different. With smoking cessation, we can just quit smoking. We don't have to buy another pack of cigarettes. With weight management, we need to continue to eat. We need to continue to cook. And there may be more emotions associated with eating. We may eat because we're stressed. We may eat because we're bored. We may eat because we're happy. That's what we do when we celebrate. And so there's more changes that need to be made. And so what I generally suggest for someone is to have 1 session and then decide whether or not they'd like to have more sessions. And then if they have more sessions, I offer them a discount if they purchase them in advance. Now, some people really like the group sessions, and so they will attain their goal and able to maintain it with a monthly group session. And that's a great way, and it's very inexpensive. Other people will start with some private sessions, and then once they're kind of doing the things that they want to do most of the time, but yet perhaps the holidays are around the corner, they're concerned about Easter, overeating, they'll make sure that they attend a group session just to stay on track with their healthful choices. Anxiety, pain management, perhaps somewhere 2, 3, could be more sessions, but it depends on the person and the issue. But I never know. Sometimes it can be a really difficult issue, and 1 session is all they need, or it may be sometimes they feel like it's really easy, but as we're going through the hypnosis, they realize that there's other things going on that they'd like to address. It's a good question. So any other questions? Okay, and feel free while we're doing this next part, if anything comes up, to let me know. So how can hypnosis support you and your healthful choices? So we talked a little bit about using hypnosis for smoking cessation, for weight management. Often this emotional association with we need food for this or we need food for that makes it difficult to reduce weight. So when we address what is that reason that we tend to perhaps starve ourselves all day, and then we get home from work, and then we start eating from the moment we get home until we go to bed at night, and then we start that cycle again, and it may even be that the person's not eating that much total consumption throughout the day, but that it's all at the end of the day. So we start to look at what's going on with that, and how can we be nicer to ourselves? Would you do that to a little 4-year-old child? Say, okay, now get up, you can have a cup of coffee, but you have to go until 6 o'clock tonight before you can eat again. You just wouldn't do that to somebody else. but yet we may be doing that to ourselves. Part of it can be just learning to be nicer to ourselves. And with hypnosis, if there are roadblocks to perhaps exercising, exercise is kind of the magic pill. Exercise is wonderful for weight reduction, it's wonderful for stress reduction, we sleep better when we exercise, we have less likelihood of falling because our balance is improved, just so many benefits to exercise. But if we just can't seem to get out and go for a walk or get to the gym, what are the reasons behind that? We don't have to be in the Olympics, but there can be some real joy in dancing, if you like to dance, or just getting out and walking and looking at this beautiful area that we live here in the greater Seattle area, the trees and the water, and so finding a way to move past perhaps this idea that I wasn't good enough to make the football team, therefore I can't exercise. There just may be some things that are holding us back. But just a small amount of weight reduction can make a huge difference in our health and certainly in our sense of well-being as well. Okay, so before we get to the hypnosis part, what I'd like to do is go around the room, and if you wouldn't mind saying your first name and then letting me know what you would like support with tonight. Now, you can pass. You don't need to participate in the hypnosis, or two, you don't need to mention anything that you'd like support with. But the type of things that people usually ask for, and I usually include, are, better sleep, stress reduction, eating when hungry, stopping when satisfied, eating a portion size that's right for your healthy body, and then if there are foods or beverages that you tend to eat that aren't necessarily healthy for you, that you tend to overeat, and maybe you don't even want that whole carton, but just once you start eating those potato chips, next thing you know, they're gone, you don't even remember eating them, and yet you repeat that pattern quite often. I can do something called aversion therapy, and that is helpful in either stopping eating, say, sugary foods, high fat or foods, or giving you the ability to have some, but maybe be very picky about it. For instance, maybe you like to have chocolate, and yet you really prefer Godiva or C's chocolates, but there's this candy bowl at work, and you don't even really enjoy the candy in there, but you dip into it, and once you start, you just eat it all day long, and you don't even like it. So we can do aversion therapy on that candy that's in that candy bowl, so that you could still choose to have your favorite and thoroughly enjoy it, but not, waste all those calories on the things that you really don't like. So I'm going to get a pen. I'm going to move over here again. And actually, I need to get back here. So I can write. Thank you. So, as I mentioned, everybody can pass, but it'd be wonderful if you want to participate, if you'd say your first name and let me know what you would like support with. Would you mind starting? Okay, would you like to start?
I think I was last time.
Okay.
So I'm Susan, and I would like to not have seconds at dinner, no matter how yummy the dinner is.
Wonderful, thank you. And what quite often happens is when it gets to be your turn, people will say, I want everything that everybody else said, plus. It's kind of fun. Yeah. Okay.
My name is Terry, and I'd like to stop eating when I'm full.
Perfect. Excellent, thanks.
My name is Rita, and I didn't come tonight. I mean, I came tonight for informational and support to my husband. But in thinking about relaxing, and I've kind of always really wanted to meditate, and I've tried it before, and I can't seem to do it, and I would like to be able to relax and stay.
In that relaxed state, yeah, that is so, that happens to so many people. Meditation is a practice, so we have to continue to kind of get back to whether it's our mantra or whatever it is that we're using as our meditative practice. And self-hypnosis can be very much like a guided meditation. And so what we will begin with tonight is a technique that you can use in lieu of meditation. We're going to actually do 2 different stress reduction, self-calming techniques. So if you like both or either one of them, please give those a try on your own. The nice thing is, as I mentioned, you can't get stuck in hypnosis, so that you can use these techniques, and then one, you could use them to go to sleep, or just to take a nice little break and relax for a bit. If you're worried that you'll fall asleep and you don't want to fall asleep, I just go ahead and set a timer. You know, I'll set the timer on the kitchen stove or something. But there'll be a number, at least 2 techniques that you can use for that.
My name is Juan. I find that when I'm stressed, I resort to eating sweets and highly processed foods, so it's kind of as a comfort. So I'd like to try to decrease that.
Okay, good. So would it be okay then if we do a little aversion therapy with sweets?
Yes, please.
Yes. And after we kind of get that, figure out what we're going to do there, if there's anybody who does not want that, I will have you stay in the hypnosis in a very pleasant place while the rest of us go and do aversion therapy, and then we'll all come back together into that pleasant place and then continue with the hypnosis. So if I say anything tonight that's not right for you, it's going to go in one ear and out the other and have no effect on you. So those things, though, that you want to participate in, just allow your imagination to just be curious and kind of explore what's going on as I say these things, because for each of you it will be different, and yet no one else will know that, because what's happening will be happening within you. So of the sweets, what are the most tempting, or what are the ones that you really like to, the more specific?
Chocolate.
Okay. Any particular chocolate?
We have a candy bowl that
Brown candy.
I've
I don't
got to
think
do
it
it twice
gets
today.
I think every office has a candy.
We need to fill them with apples or
There you
oranges
go.
or something. Yeah. And anything else that, so the chocolate, the candy in the candy bowl?
Cookie, I mean, basically any sweets.
Okay,
Cookies are
okay.
basically
So
generally,
so cookies, pastries,
Yeah.
ice cream, pies, cakes?
Yes.
Okay, okay. All the sweets.
yeah.
Apple fritters.
Specific,
Excellent. Good. And anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
When we get to the apple fritters, I want to go someplace.
Okay, so if you're doing the aversion therapy with this, but you don't want something that I say, again, it's going to go in one ear and out the other, have no effect.
I'm Lynn, and I would like to just have reinforcement for weight loss.
Okay, okay.
Let's say miraculous reinforcement for weight loss.
I want to listen to that.
Very good, thank you. Is there anything that you'd like us to put into the hypnosis?
I'm Lori, and I sort of am in the same boat as Lynn. I know how to, when I'm supposed to eat, if there's something blocking, and I just refuse to do that.
Okay. And is there anything in particular that you're eating that you would rather not, that you just have to stay away from? Or?
No, actually, no, because I try not to bring that stuff into my house. What I'm having trouble with is, I know I'm supposed to be eating 6 small meals a day, and I'm now back to having a small breakfast, a lunch, and then by dinner I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So I need to get back to the 6 small meals, and I'm just digging in my heels to not do that.
Okay, okay. We'll do something there, let's see. Hi.
Hi, I'm Julia. Exercise is one of us, so just making myself do it.
Okay. Thank you. And so I kind of did it over here.
My name's Sue, and I guess I would like help stopping the diet soda.
Oh, good, good, good. One of my favorite things to include in the aversion therapy. And is it any particular brand or just diet soda?
Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, one or the other.
You could add Mountain Dew to that.
Okay. And is it just plain Mountain Dew or is it the diet?
It's the plain.
Okay.
Come on.
And anything else? Okay.
My name is Aubrey, and I'm definitely on board with the limiting the sweets. That was a big one for me. And I just feel like I'm hungry all day long, regardless of what I eat. So like, I need help not, like when I get a craving, I'm instantly trying to find where that is, and there's no second thought. So I just need to not eat all day. I don't really know how to word that in a better way.
Okay. And you start your day with some breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
And
Good.
lunch and dinner and snacks, and more snacks.
Okay.
So maybe less snacking.
Yeah. Okay. Please.
So while you're writing that down, I just wanted to tell you a real quick story from a little over a year ago. One of our participants, an employee, her husband's a line chef, and French fries and all those good things that line chefs make. And she requested from Kate, could I please stop eating French fries? So Kate did some aversion therapy along those lines with our group session. And I remember a ways later, a couple months later, I was asking her, she goes, I have not eaten a single French fry. I can't stand them anymore. And it was really fascinating. And she just loved it. A year later, yeah, no French fries.
Wow. Miraculous.
So are you happy with the food choices that you're making?
No.
No, okay, okay.
They're mostly unhealthy, and I'm just starting to make healthier choices little by little.
And that's great.
But
Yeah.
I have so many snack cravings all the time. I used to stress snack,
Yeah.
and then my stress levels decreased, but my snacking didn't decrease. I just kind of got stuck in that habit, so.
Now, you mentioned Mountain Dew. Are there foods that you'll tend to snack on that aren't helpful that you perhaps would like to stop snacking on?
Cheez-Its? Oh gosh, there's so many.
So salty snacks?
Yeah, I like salty and I like sweet
Okay.
and savory. Dang it. I definitely eat for every emotion. If I'm happy, I want a good meal. If I'm sad, I want comfort food. If I'm stressed, I want comfort food. So I'm definitely an emotional eater. Did I give you too much?
No, I just was trying to decide what to say and what I want to put in the hypnosis. Yeah. And you know, so many of us do that. You know,
Yeah.
we eat because of an emotion, and what's really interesting is if we could give ourselves permission, perhaps when that emotion comes up, you know, stress, boredom, even happy, you know, you're happy, you want to celebrate, and then you find yourself going for food. If we can pause for maybe 5 minutes
Yeah.
and just say, just for 5 minutes, the end of 5 minutes, if I still want to go have that, whatever it is to eat, I can. And just let yourself feel that emotion. One, often, if at the end of 5 minutes we choose to eat, we often will eat much less. But in that process of feeling the emotion, we get to know ourselves. And we learn to be kinder to ourselves, because certainly when we want to celebrate, food is wonderful, and it should be enjoyed when we're eating, and we should, you know, savor each bite. But to perhaps break away from a party and conversing with people and enjoying the conversation and what have you, to just focus on the food, we're really diminishing our happiness. And so if we start to look at that a little bit, and the first time that we do it, the first few times, it's so difficult. But after we do it one time and we start to notice, we know ourselves better, we can be giving ourselves what we really need, rather than momentarily having that satisfaction of food that ultimately then we're not very happy with ourselves. If instead we say, wait, I'm going to put off eating at this party for a while. Now, I would never go to a party hungry. I would make sure I had something to eat before, so that when you get there, you could really, who do I want to talk to? What, you know, what's the interesting conversation here? What's happening here that I can really enjoy? Or the same thing if we're stressed. Really, food isn't de-stressing us. Momentarily feeling better, but learning to find other ways that really do lower that stress. Ultimately, we just feel so much better. And it's not about denying ourselves food, because that's tends to backfire and we want to overeat. It's like, what do I really need? Again, it's that 4-year-old little child.
Yeah.
You know, she was excited
Stop
about
shoving
going to
candy
the
in her mouth.
yeah, she was excited about going to the party. Honey, you know, who do you want to see here? You know, who do you want to talk to? What's happening here that we and you know, maybe treating ourselves that way as we would somebody that we love, and then ultimately, you know, being really loving to ourselves. So, yeah. But I'm going to put something in here about that. Okay, thank you. And thank you for sharing that, because you're not alone. So many of us feel that way.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Or I hope not, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one. No, it happens. And what a joy it is to start to be nicer to ourselves. And then find that we're reducing the weight, we're getting healthier, and we know ourselves better in life. You know, there's just this more of a sense of well-being. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you.
I'm Wanda, and I'm on board with everything everyone said, except the soda's not a problem, but I would like to see exercise as something enjoyable and not a punishment.
Very good. Thank you. Do you want to participate?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure, I don't think this will go with anyone else, but my name's Andre, and I'd like to gain weight.
Let's get out of here.
But you know, I think that does come down to listening to our bodies and eating when we're hungry, stopping when we're satisfied, making healthful food choices.
Because I want to gain weight to turn it into muscle.
Yeah, and so, and the motivation to exercise and make those healthful food choices. So yeah, I think it will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
And did you want to participate?
Sure. That sounds good. I got to say something too. I guess I have two things. One would be sleep. For some reason, I just keep on going, you know, and I can, you know, feel like days following. And then also with organization. Sometimes I have a problem with organization, and I get going on something too long, or or I'm not on something long enough, and there's some sort of organizational, deficit there.
Okay, very good. And last but not least,
My name is Kelly. I have a couple foods that I have real issues with, peanut M&Ms and donuts.
okay.
Once I start, I can't stop. And the other issue is I only eat chicken, so I don't eat beef or pork, and I would like to not eat chicken, so my choices are limited.
And you don't eat fish?
I do not care for fish or seafood, so I need to open up to some other foods.
Oh, I see, okay, okay.
More variety.
More variety, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trying more new things.
So, with the aversion therapy, I have salty snacks and Cheez-Its. We have the diet sodas, Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, Mountain Dew. We have all the sweets, and I'll mention everything that everybody mentioned, plus the kind of general categories. Anything else in the aversion therapy that people would like that isn't on the list? And is there anybody who does not want to participate in the aversion therapy at all? Do you want to
What's
address?
the difference between an aversion therapy and the other one?
Well, the aversion therapy is, I'm going to associate something kind of gross with these foods. So it's, yeah.
I don't
versus-
participate.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, so very good. Okay, good. So, any questions? If you want to participate, in a moment I'll ask you to take a nice deep breath in and close your eyes. Know that at any time, if you want to open your eyes, that you are free to do so. So if you're watching this on video, please make sure that you're not operating any kind of machinery, you're not driving your car, that you're actually sitting down or laying down someplace safe where you can close your eyes, because we're going to begin the hypnosis part of it now. So go ahead and make yourselves comfortable. Know that during the hypnosis that you will be free to move, to adjust, to find a more comfortable position. If by chance you're choosing not to participate in the hypnosis today, but you're going to stay here with us, please try not to get up and leave the room or anything, because that would just distract people. Oh, and if you could check to make sure your cell phone is on silent or off, that would be great. And as I mentioned, the first part of the hypnosis, if there's anything that you like in this, feel free to do this on your own. You know, this is a nice way to practice something like meditation, something that will be a great stress reducer. Okay, so go ahead and make yourself comfortable. And when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, just allow your eyes to gently close. And as you continue to breathe, you might want to take a couple of nice deep breaths in. And long, slow exhales. And you may find that as you inhale, you feel more peaceful. And with each and every exhalation, you feel more relaxed. Now, as you continue to listen to the sound of my voice, I want you to take a moment and scan your body, simply noticing any areas that may feel tense or tight, noticing if there's any discomfort that you're experiencing, and respectfully just acknowledge those areas. And also, as you scan your body now from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, notice any areas that may feel more comfortable, more relaxed, perhaps even a pleasant sensation. And simply make note of how you're feeling right now. And once you have that, I'd like you to bring your awareness back to your breath. And I'd like you to take a couple of nice deep breaths. And the way I'd like you to do this is on the inhale, I'd like you to count silently to yourself from 1 to 5. And on the exhale, counting silently to yourself from 1 to 5, a long, slow, complete exhale. And doing that again for about 3 breaths, inhaling as you count from 1 to 5, and exhaling as you count from 1 to 5. And after you've taken about 3 or more breaths, go ahead and allow your breath to normalize to a natural, easy, comfortable rhythm. And I'd like you to bring your awareness to the very center of your chest. And simply focus there for a moment. And as you do, focus right there on the center of your chest. You may notice some sensations, or maybe not. Either's fine. Some people tell me that they can feel or sense the healthy beating of their hearts. Simply noticing what it's like for you this time. And while a part of you continues to focus right there on the center of your chest, I wonder if a part of your mind could now open up to thinking about or seeing or remembering or creating some place that you would find to be peaceful and relaxing and very safe. We can call this your special place, and it may be a place that you've been to before on vacation, perhaps at a local park, or it may be a place that you're creating now in your imagination. But whether it's real or it's a place that you're creating now, I want you to go and enhance it in any way that you would like to make it just as peaceful and beautiful and safe and comfortable as you would like it to be this time. And know that any time that you would like to relax, you can come back to this place. But allowing yourself to be there now and simply enjoying the beauty, the peacefulness, the calm. And then taking a moment once again to scan your body and respectfully simply notice how you're feeling now. And then comparing that to how you were feeling before and noticing how you were able to make those changes, to relax, to feel better. And anytime you want, you can do this again on your own by simply imagining that special place. Now, for those of you who would like, you can just continue to enjoy your special place. Perhaps you'd like to get up and explore it, or maybe find a comfortable place to lie down or sit. But for those of you who would like to have some additional control over certain foods and beverages, I'd like you to come with me now, and we'll come back to the safe place in just a moment. So if you are looking at having a bit more control over sweets, salty foods, sodas, I'd like you in your mind to go ahead and imagine something that you find to be disgusting, repulsive, and gross. Now, it could be a smell, it could be an image. But whatever it is, make it just as disgusting and repulsive and gross as you could possibly make it. And once you have that, if it's helpful, and you'd like to make it a little more disgusting, because the more disgusting the better, go ahead and add snail slime to it, or maggots. And then once you have that, put it in the back of your mind for just a moment. And now I'd like you to go ahead and think about all the sweet foods that you would like to either stop eating or have more control over. I'd like you to think about candy, cakes, pies, ice cream, pastry, all the sweet, sugary foods, the peanut M&Ms, donuts, chocolate and candy in that candy bowl at work, the apple fritters. And then imagine all the salty snacks, the crackers, the chips, the Cheez-Its, the French fries, and the diet sodas, Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, and Mountain Dew. Imagine the ones that give you the most difficulty, the ones that are the hardest to stay away from, the ones that undermine your goal. And imagine picking them up now and taking a bite or a sip, and then all of a sudden that gross, disgusting repulsiveness emerges from the back of your mind, and you are repulsed by all of these foods, these beverages. You have no desire for them. You stay away from them. You don't want them anymore. You wouldn't think of eating these things. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath in, and just go on back to that beautiful, safe place, relaxing there, letting go of the sights, the sounds, the smells, relaxing and simply enjoying your safe place. Connecting with the beauty, the peacefulness, and just how relaxed you can give yourself permission to be here. Now, if you aren't already sitting or lying down in your safe place, go ahead and find a comfortable place to do so. And as you do, you look up and you notice the future you approaching you. And your future self looks amazing. Healthy, fit, happy. There's a glow, a lightness of being, an energy that is so attractive, so healthy. And your future self walks right up to you and asks you, how are you? I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy. I want you to enjoy your life. And so you ask your future self, well, please tell me, what will I be doing in the future? And your future self smiles and says, in the future, you have learned to be good to you, to listen to your body, to pay attention to what you really need. And when you're feeling an emotion, you simply feel that emotion. And if it's stress, you might take a couple of deep breaths. You might call a dear friend and just talk, or you may go for a walk, but you never eat for an emotion. Your future self eats when they're hungry, stops when they're satisfied, but pays attention to their bodies, eating at a regular interval, healthful foods. Now, occasionally your future self lets you know, sure, it's okay to splurge once in a while, and when I do, I enjoy every bite, the flavor, the texture, the aroma. I really focus on my food when I'm eating. And I find that smaller portions are truly all that I need. They're just right. And I know That when I'm taking good care of myself, I can eat multiple meals a day, those smaller portions. And so it's easy for me to begin to experiment with different foods, different healthful foods that I've been curious about, that maybe I'd even thought, oh no, that would be just too gross. Choosing to be curious like a child and take some of these different foods and finding that some you like and some you don't. But isn't that interesting that your future self is taking such good care of themselves and enjoying life more and is able to achieve that weight, that healthy weight that is just right for your healthy body. And so you continue asking, what else do you do? And your future self lets you know, well, I have arms and legs and my body likes to move. Some days I walk, some days I dance, some days I go to the gym, but I find ways to move my body that I actually enjoy and I feel so much better. And every time I work out or go for a walk afterwards, I feel great. I find that I feel better every day that I exercise in some way or another, and it doesn't have to be for a long period of time. Unless that's what I choose, and those days that are right for me, I challenge myself. And I exercise a little bit more. I might step it up a bit, but I do it in a healthy way that I truly enjoy. And I have fun moving my body. My arms and legs, they love to move. And you think about that. And you remember as a child how much fun it was to simply be free, to have fun, to play tag, to climb a tree, to ride a bike. And you decide to try that, to find an exercise that's right for you, a way to move your body that you can truly enjoy. And it doesn't need to be on a treadmill unless that's what you want. And then you listen to music or read a book or do something else that you enjoy while doing that. And you find ways. And by being good to you, by practicing self-care, listening to your body, what is it that I really need? And giving yourself what is truly needed, rather than stuffing yourself down, weighting yourself down with foods when you're not hungry or it's not what you really need. You find that you feel so much better. That those things in your life that you want for you, to have that energy, to be productive, to get organized, to focus on the things that are important to you and let go of those things that really don't matter, that it all begins to fall into place. And every night, your future self tells you, every night, starting tonight, when you want to sleep, you are able to lay down and drift off to sleep within 2 minutes. And sleep deeply, pleasantly, comfortably the whole night through. Unless there's an emergency, in which case you're immediately awakened, take care of whatever the issue is, and then when it's resolved, heading back to bed, you drift right back off to sleep. Sleeping until your chosen awakening time. And when you awaken, that image of the future you who is healthy and happy and right at the weight that you want to be is there in your mind. And you find that every day you are moving closer and closer to that future you. That's right, making those healthful choices that are right for you and being kind to yourself. Paying attention to what you really need. That's right. And so you realize as the future you gives you a big hug and simply melts right into you with all of those behaviors, all of those wonderful feelings and abilities and curiosity of a child and the ability to move and enjoy life. Your future you brings that to you, so you know that every day will be better and better. You can be happier making those healthful choices that are right for you, and that you can do this. You can make those choices. And it's not about being perfect. You know that it's okay to splurge every once in a while, and doing it mindfully. And then moving on with your life, getting right back into your healthy choices. You know that you can do this, and that the future is bright. Now in a moment, I'm going to count you back to your conscious awareness, counting from 1 to 5. And on the count of 5, you'll open your eyes, you'll be wide awake, feeling wonderful. Number 1, coming back gently, becoming aware of the chair beneath you, the room around you. Number 2, feeling wonderful, feeling refreshed, knowing that whether you drive a car or take public transportation or walk, that you will do so safely, and that you will arrive at your final destinations safely. You always arrive safely. Number 3, coming back up, more aware of the chairs, the room, any sounds that you hear. Number 4, beginning to move your body, wiggle your fingers, your toes, getting ready to open your eyes all the way back. Number 5, feeling wonderful, feeling so much better than before. Well, thank you all for being here. How's everybody feeling? Excellent. Excellent. Good. Any questions about what you experienced or anything that you want to share? Okay.
I thought it was going to be like a trance, and I didn't feel like that.
Right. And that's when we talked about that bell curve, where some people can go into a deeper level, other people are going to stay in a light level, where it's just a feeling of relaxation. It's still hypnosis, and you can still amazingly make these type of changes, even in that very light state. And the other thing is, the more that you do that, the more that you do anything, you get better at it, but the more that you experience hypnosis, the easier it is to go into a little deeper level.
So something like rewatching this video and just laying in bed or whatever and doing the same thing, it's the same effect, right?
It probably will be a little bit different every time, but yes, it would have the effect that you were desiring. Yeah.
The hard
Thank
part's,
you.
hard part's standing up after it.
Yeah.
Hold on to something. That was really wonderful, and thank you very much for leading this. And
There are frequently asked questions or fact sheets back there, and also over there I have some business cards. If you think of any questions later, you can always feel free to contact me, email, or call me. And if you're interested in the group class that I do, there is a sign-up sheet over there.
And that's only in Edmonds.
It's
right?
only in Edmonds at this time, yeah. Great, thank you.
thank you.